Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to my channel, The Gentleman Reviewer. So as you guys might have seen on my social media pages, I've got something really special that I'm reviewing this week. So I was strolling around on Craigslist a couple of weeks ago looking for pens, which I know isn't the greatest place to go and look for pens. But every once in a while you come across something good. And this was something that I came across that I'm really happy that I found. I came across someone who said that he'd been making pens since high school and then went and served in our Navy for a couple of years, and then the reserves, he said, for about a total of 9 years. Came to Colorado and then reignited his hobby of making pens since he was in high school. And then he said that people started paying me for it, so I decided that I'd put some ads up on Craigslist and Facebook and see what happens. So I got in contact with him, and originally he was willing to send me a couple pens to review for this blog, but ultimately I decided that I just wanted to purchase some. I like the idea of supporting a veteran and then supporting a local business, a local small business, I guess I could say, and just local craftsman who makes these by hand and puts his work and effort into making them. So he makes these to order with a variety of options. The ones that he has listed on Craigslist as far as wood goes is aspen, Brazilian cherry, ebony, and Oregon myrtle wood. And then the hardware, like the clip and the tip, has brass, stainless steel, brushed silver, copper, and gunmetal. I'm sure he's got quite a few more options. If you just get in contact with him, I'm sure he'd be able to give you quite a bit more. Sounds like he finds wood that he likes and would fit the bill and then turns them himself. Sometimes he pulls stuff from his yard, or he gets wood from his neighbor, or he contacts some wood companies and says, hey, send me whatever scraps you got, and I'm going to turn them into pens. So getting into these pens, so he makes these to order, so you've got to get in contact with him, tell him what you want, and then he'll make them for you. I think he has a turnaround of a couple days, so fairly quick. Let's see. So the design itself is a slimline pen, pretty simple design. This right up here is cylindrical and very flat, and then this has a bit of an oval shape to it. It's a little bit tapered going to here, and a little bit more of a sharp taper right here, and that just helps with the grip on the pen. Helps it with just feel more natural in your hands. So the woods that I had made for these two are aspen for this one right here. That's why it's very, very white, very little. You can see the spot right there, and then over on this side you've got a nice, it's like a grayish brown streak in it. I don't know if that's the rings or what that would be, or if that would be a knot. I have no idea, don't know enough about wood, so if you know what that could be, comment below. And then this one right here is a cherry finish. The hardware on this one's silver. This one I think it's black. He didn't have. I ordered brass. He didn't have that in stock, and I think it's black, or maybe it's gunmetal. I'm not 100% sure right now, but he adds these 3 lines in there. I would assume it's for grip. That's about where you would grip the pen. It feels good. They're not very raised. They're pretty smooth and even with the rest of the body. And so it feels really good. The clip itself fits very well against the body of the pen, and if you put it in, say, a pen loop, or in your pocket or in a shirt pocket, it's not gonna come off. So he did a good job on that. On the cherry one, let's see if I can get some close-up views of it. So you'll notice right there, there's a bit of a crack. Let's see. I can't get it to focus again. Come on. There we go. Bit of a crack. I think that's part of the wood. I don't think that's a problem. I'm just pointing it out because I think that stuff like that on these pens really adds character to them. You're not going to get consistent quality every time because there's not the quality check. And again, I'm not saying it's a quality issue. I think it adds character. You don't even notice it when you're writing. There's a couple more up top here, and I hope that gives you a really good view of the grain on this cherry pen. I don't remember what he finished it with, but he said he put a couple extra finishes on these pens, and I think this one came out very good. The aspen one is one that I haven't really featured on my blog because it's my wife's. She really likes aspen trees, and so it worked out well that he had aspen available. I was kind of surprised that it turned out well into a pen, because what little I know about wood, aspen seems to be a fairly soft wood. I don't know what it's like when it dries, but it did finish very well. It's a lot smoother than the cherry finish, and it just like it feels not glossy but almost there. And like I said, there's just a couple discolorations in the wood, but I think that more has to do with that's not like a blemish or anything like that. It's not a problem. And again, it just adds character. Each one's going to be unique because it's coming from a different part of a tree and a different tree. And so it's been cool to just look at it and see the wood grain. I've really liked that. So like I said earlier, this is all the same dimension on this pen. It looks like there's a little bit of a taper right here on this one, and then it gets a little wider up here. But this one's all about the same length, and this one is a bit tapered or oval to help with the grip. They're both twist operation pens, so you twist it like that to get it to engage, and it has a nice solid without being snappy, like you feel when it's open and then when it's closed. So my only problem that I've had with this pen, or the only thing that I haven't liked about it, is the refill. So there's no markings that I can see on this, but it's a cross style refill and it's a ballpoint. I'm not a huge fan of ballpoint pens because they tend to take more pressure to write with. But again, that's more of a personal preference. So if you like ballpoint pens, that's my only complaint on this. It's nothing about how Patrick made it. That's the style of kit that he got. It's not a problem. It's just something that I would like to find a gel refill, and I can't seem to find one in the Cross style. So if you know of one that Cross makes, or a knockoff version of Cross's pen or Cross's refills, that would be greatly appreciated if you comment that below and where I could find them. So the pens themselves, they're about 5¼ inches long, which comes out to about 13.5 centimeters. And the grip, I didn't measure this one, but I measured this one because this one's mine and the one that I've used most. It's about 1.5 inches around in diameter, which comes out to about 4 centimeters in dimensions. So unfortunately, I don't have a way to weigh these pens. I don't have a scale or anything like that, but they are, somewhat weighty, and they do feel good when you're using them. As some of you may know by now, I do like heavier pens. All metal pens are some of my favorites. The Rotring 600 is probably my favorite mechanical pencil, and I just got the Zebra F701, which I've really enjoyed using. Let me pull that over for a size comparison, since this is a pretty common pen. So it's about, it's a little bit longer than an F701 when you're not taking into account the clicker. If I take into account the clicker, they're darn near the same length. So, but again, just as far as weight goes, this is a little bit heavier because it's all metal. But overall, I've really enjoyed using this pen. It's a good conversation starter. It kind of stands out. A lot of people just have the standard Bic pens or just some cheap throwaway pens that are good pens, but don't really say anything beyond, I could spend 25 cents and I can hold on to something that only costs $0.25. Something like this, you invest in a pen, you invest in someone's craftsmanship, and this one's definitely turned out to be a very, very good pen. The finish on it is fantastic. The grip is very, very smooth. Even with these ridges, you don't really notice it, and it's just been a great pen. So if you really like these, you can find Patrick on his Facebook page. I'll try to remember to include a link in the YouTube video, the description box below, to where you can find him. He also just opened an Etsy page, which I'll try to find and link the video to as well. I'm not endorsed or sponsored or anything by Pens by Patrick. He's just a local guy that I found and wanted to feature his pens because I've never owned a handmade pen or a wood turn pen before. I've got to say they do kind of go, they exceed my expectations so far. I've heard that the wood just feels a little warmer on a wood turn pen, and I have to agree with that. It doesn't feel cheap or crappy or anything like that. And you're also supporting someone who put an effort into this and made it by hand. So great work, Patrick. I'm happy to have featured this on my blog. Again, I'm not endorsed or anything by Patrick, but he makes a really good pen. And check them out and order your own. So have a great weekend, guys. Look forward to seeing you on my next review on Wednesday. Thanks again.